Unlock the power of nonverbal communication. What is nonverbal communication? Nonverbal communication is the transfer of information through body language, facial expressions, gestures, created space, and more. For example, smiling when you meet someone conveys friendliness, acceptance, and openness. Everyone uses nonverbal communication all the time, whether they know it or not. What is a nonverbal cue? A nonverbal cue is an aspect of body language that can be used to infer or convey meaning. Nonverbal cues can be used to tell other people what you are thinking, feeling, and/or perceiving. Nonverbal communication is dependent on seeing and analyzing physical movements as opposed to verbal communication, or the use of language to transfer information through written text, speaking, or sign language. Why is nonverbal communication important? Nonverbal communication is important because it's the way we communicate without words. It can include facial expressions, gestures, posture, and tone of voice. Nonverbal communication can be used to express feelings, build relationships, and influence others. It's also an important way to show respect for someone else. Types of nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication can be defined as the process of communication through sending and receiving messages without the use of words. It is estimated that nonverbal communication accounts for up to 93% of all communication. There are a variety of different types of nonverbal communication, which can be categorized into three main groups: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Visual. Visual nonverbal communication includes facial expressions, eye contact, body language, and gestures. Auditory. Auditory nonverbal communication includes tone of voice, inflection, and volume. Kinesthetic. Kinesthetic nonverbal communication includes touch, posture, and movement. Touch. Some people also use touch as a form of communication. Most commonly, it is used to communicate support or comfort. This form of communication should be used sparingly and only when you know the receiving party is okay with it. It should never be used to convey anger, frustration, or any other negative emotions. Posture. The way you sit or stand can also communicate your comfort level, professionalism, and general disposition towards a person or conversation. Movement. The way you move your arms and legs, such as walking quickly or slowly, standing, sitting, or fidgeting, can all convey different messages to onlookers. Each type of nonverbal communication can send different messages and provide important clues to what a person is thinking or feeling. Nonverbal communication is often very subtle and can be easily misinterpreted. It is important to be aware of the different types of nonverbal communication in order to better understand the messages being sent. How to read nonverbal cues. Behavioral scientists have long recognized the importance of nonverbal communication in human interaction. Nonverbal cues can communicate messages more quickly and effectively than words, and they are often harder for others to misinterpret. In this article, we will explore some of the most common nonverbal signals that people use to communicate. We will look at how to read and interpret these signals, as well as some tips on how to use them effectively in your relationships. The nonverbal communication of the body. The body language of nonverbal communication can be confusing, but there are several ways to interpret it. For example, when someone is nervous or anxious, they may stand with their feet a little farther apart than normal. Body language is the way someone situates their body depending on the situation, the environment, and how they are feeling. The nonverbal communication of feet. Foot posture can be used to communicate a variety of emotions, such as confidence and dominance. People who stand with their feet a little farther than normal may be more confident in themselves. The nonverbal communication of hands. When you're talking to someone, it's important to pay attention to how they are holding their hands. Hand gestures can vary in meaning, depending on how they are used. The nonverbal communication of arms. When people are talking to each other, they may hold their arms a little higher or lower than normal. This can mean that they are feeling threatened or nervous. The nonverbal communication of eyes. People who are looking at you may have different expressions on their faces. Strategically using eye contact, or lack of eye contact, is an extremely effective way to communicate your attention and interest. Paralanguage. Paralanguage includes the non-language elements of speech, such as your talking speed, pitch, intonation, volume, and more. Facial expressions. One of the most common forms of nonverbal communication is facial expressions. Using the eyebrows, mouth, eyes, and facial muscles to convey emotion or information can be very effective. The nonverbal communication of smile. People who are smiling often have a slightly different expression in their eyes. The nonverbal communication of mouths. When people are talking to each other, they may smile more or less than normal. This can mean that they are feeling threatened or nervous. The nonverbal communication of ears. When people are talking to each other, they may lean in or back away. This can mean that they are feeling threatened or nervous. How we use space. Creating or closing distance between yourself and the people around you can also convey messages about your comfort level, the importance of the conversation, your desire to support or connect with others, and more. How to read nonverbal signals. Human beings have a wide repertoire of nonverbal signals that communicate important messages in a variety of situations. People use these signals to communicate their feelings, intentions, and even the most complex concepts. That's all for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends. I will catch you in the next video.